Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here. Welcome to March 11th, also known as the Banned and Restricted Announcement Day for Magic the Gathering. There's a couple of these per year, and this is the one where they would tend to ban something from Standard. The last one and the next one not so much, because they're within a couple days of the release of a new set. It would be very strange to ban something at that particular ban point. It's mostly considered like a non-standard format ban for Modern and Legacy and Vintage. But I mean, if something was broken enough or you thought that the next set would just be dead on arrival because of one problem deck or one problem card, yeah, I could see them doing it. And honestly, I think they might. The next one is actually May 20th, and I think we might see a ban. But this time around, nope, they didn't ban anything from any format.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
But instead of just making it one sentence, they elaborated on it, which that was a mistake. I mean, I appreciated it, and I think it's a good idea, but they also simultaneously proved that they live on a different planet from the other 99% of the community that isn't at the Pro Tour. Well, what else is new? But let's start with Modern, because I don't really follow Modern, haven't really played it for years. But I looked at the last couple tournaments, what was popular, and yeah, people got some complaints. People are calling for stuff to be banned. But from what I can gather, I do sort of agree with them not banning anything, but only at like a playing by their own rules level. There are bare minimum 30 cards I want banned from Modern. Every single Infinite Loop deck, I would ban it. Kitchen Finks, gone. Lantern Control, hyper oppressive, just jail shutdown garbage like that. Get rid of it. Who needs that? But they have a drastically different philosophy, so playing by their rules in their little environment, I don't think any problem deck right now that people are complaining about has been out long enough to merit a ban. And why would they ban something going right into a not only reprint Modern-oriented set that's coming out in just a couple months? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I do think that they took way too long to ban the Eldrazi cards during the Eldrazi winter, and in their explanation, they have this ridiculous phrase. Let me just point it out real quick. Unlike non-rotating formats, so they're referring to Standard, where the best option for making balance adjustments in a timely fashion is by banning cards, we prefer whenever possible to use Standard's rotation to help phase out problematic cards and pave the way for new strategies, blah, 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 blah. So in other words, they're using the Chain Whirler defense, because that didn't piss anybody off last time. But we'll get to that. So in a timely fashion, really, you let the Eldrazi ruin Modern and ruin at least 2 tournaments, if not 3. I lost count. And then it was like 50, then I think it was like 70% of all the decks at a tournament or something just mind-blowingly insane. And then they finally reacted, and they were like, we like to be cautious. No, you like to be clueless. What kind of idiot wouldn't think that this would be a problem? I think their more subtle message, I think they did indirectly say this, was they wanted to see if the meta would adjust to handle this new deck. It's like, yeah, it's the new shiny thing. A lot of people are playing it cool. Will everything adjust? But secretly what they meant by that was Modern at that point had been so stale, nothing had changed. I mean, for, at least like 3-4 years, it was just Affinity, Jund, Storm, Burn, Lantern Control, can't forget that. And it was just like the same like 5 or 10 decks that made up the meta for like ever, and nothing changed. And then you look at the last 2 years and holy crap has Modern changed. I mean, 5-color humans, Death Shadow is back, just all this wacky stuff, Arclight Phoenix. So I think they wanted to see if that shook things up, dethroned some of the other decks. Oh, Tron, oh god, they want that dead. Like, I think Mark Rosewater just came out and said Tron was a mistake. Like, someone from Wizards did. I remember reading that. So yeah, the idea that they responded in a timely manner is comical. If anything, the exact opposite of what they said is true. They like to respond in Standard, because that's where they make all their money, that's where the most customers are, that's where they sell the most product. And the Standard rotation isn't very long, so if you're going to ban something, you got to go, you got to ban it, you got to pull the trigger. And if you're going to say I'm wrong, they banned 9 cards in the last 2 years. So no, they do it. Every single one of those except maybe Smuggler's Copter and arguably the Ferocidon were quite late. I say respond immediately, but then again, Wizards, whenever they do a knee-jerk reaction to anything, it's going way overboard. They go full-blown Chinese government on it. So maybe they can't be trusted to make quick decisions, but yeah, what they say about their ban system and what they actually do are 2 very different things. And it doesn't work, obviously. People have been pissed about Standard for like 2 years. But for Modern, they pretend like they react really quickly. They don't, and I think they have a reason to play wait and see this time around. That's the point I'm trying to make. Because Modern Horizons, or Horizon, whatever the hell it is gonna shake things up pretty good, I would think. Or it's gonna make things way worse. I mean, in my opinion, that's what'll happen, but I guess you could call that different. And yeah, looking at some of the modern decks that people are complaining about, I'd say drop the ban hammer on it right now. But, I mean, with all the changes that have been happening and the guaranteed changes in the future, really, I mean, people spent money on that stuff pretty recently. Like, the stuff I want gone is, like, Affinity, because I hate it. Oh, and Splinter Twin's never coming back. Nope, never in a million years. Infinite combos? No. Gimmicky glass cannon binary condition crap where you either stop it or you don't? I know that had a bit of a backup plan. It wasn't an all-in combo, but that was still the point, and that deck was just toxic AIDS. And Stoneforge Mystic isn't coming back either, okay? Just get over it. They'd rather unban Ponder. Like, it's about on that level. So for Modern, whatever, I don't care. I don't even play it. I think some people have a point, but I think that Wizards has a point saying let's wait and see just to see if it works itself out, to see if Horizon fixes it, or to see if it gets worse and then pull the trigger. I mean, okay, whatever. Damage done in that case, but whatever. So in Standard, I already said in the last video, I want Mono Red and Mono Blue banned, and Teferi and Nexus. So Terramander and the Steamkin, whatever the hell elemental, I always forget the damn name, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, Experimental Frenzy, keep it. I don't care. The Steamkin is the reason that they have unlimited mana. That's the problem. So that, Terramander, and Teferi and Nexus are the 4 that I want to ban. And Standard, just think how good of a place Standard would be in without those. It would be amazing. It would probably triple the number of decks that would be competitively viable. So that would fix it, but boy, would they be pissing off a lot of people. And I think that's why they're so hesitant to ban anything. But the only thing that they chose to defend was Nexus of Fate. And that's it. The whole entire multi-paragraph short essay written, I guess, by Ian Duke or whatever, was about Nexus of Fate. And oh my gosh, this what they wrote is going to piss you off so much. And it's going to prove how disconnected from reality these idiots are. Oh, did I not put the trigger warning for you snowflakes that this is a negative video and you might not be able to handle it if you're not an adult? You could just get the fuck off my channel if that's you. If you're a whiny little bitch, it's like, some of your videos sound negative. Because the game's in a shithole right now. It's a fucking dumpster fire. That's why. Does that explain it for you? I'm not gonna just fly across the screen shooting rainbows out my ass telling you everything's great and how much I love Magic, okay? Right now I'm pretty pissed. I haven't even been to F&M in like 4 weeks. I don't even want to play Magic right now. I barely touch Arena. Standard is in an unplayable, disastrous state, and they refuse to admit it. So I don't know if I should read what they wrote first or provide my evidence. I guess I'll read what they put. And then we'll look at the last SCG tournament results and disprove every single word that they said. So, a discussion of Nexus of Fate. There's been a lot of community discussion surrounding Nexus of Fate. You think? Including recently at the 2019 Mythic Championship 1 in Cleveland. Now, remember when everybody in my comment section said, oh no, that only works on Arena, people only played in Best of 1, there's no competitive viability whatsoever for Nexus and Standard. Whoopsies! Every tournament for like the last month has had it, including the Mythic Championship. It was, they claimed 14%, I saw 19%, whatever, somewhere in the middle, of all the decks were running it. And it's in 3 different decks. I mean, how dumb do you have to be to say that it's not competitively viable? Literally, when the spoiler came out, people said, well, that's a broken, problematic pile of crap. Well, hell, let me get out my Jamaican accent and call me Miss Cleo, because call me now for your free reading. I said it, you said it, everybody in the community said it. Apparently, everybody knew that this card was going to be broken trash and extremely problematic, except Wizards, unless they printed a broken, overpowered crap on purpose as like a value thing to sell boxes. I don't know, that's a little too tinfoil hat for me, but who knows? They're capable of anything, sure, maybe. So we want to take this opportunity to reinforce that we have no current plans to ban Nexus of Fate in the tabletop standard and arena traditional best of 3. They also, by the way, apparently have no plans to actually enforce the ban in best of 1. I did a best of 1 500 coin standard constructed tournament and somebody was playing this, which the only way that that would be possible is if somebody had a pending event that they didn't finish for like 3 weeks. I mean, how long ago was Nexus banned? It's been a while. So they would have had to have not touched it and then joined just my game just at that time for me to see it. Based on the sheer number of reports that people have told me that they were playing a game on Arena, best of one, and had somebody play Nexus of Fate despite it being banned, I think there's an exploit. I think there's some kind of glitch or some kind of way to get it in there. I don't know what it is. I don't care. I have a screenshot proving it. Fix it. Wizards, just fix it. So let's get on with the bullshit. Our data gathered from MTG Arena, Magic Online, and Mythic Championship 1 all show that Nexus of Fate decks, while part of the competitive metagame, are not problematic from a balance perspective, which, okay, I mean, I'll give them that. They're not wrong, but they're looking at an awfully narrow view and failing to take certain things into consideration, like fun. In fact, the current standard environment is proving to be one of the most balanced and robust in quite some time. Yeah, I do remember a couple months ago when it was literally Red Rush or Teferi, period. I think one person was playing Scarab God at that tournament. That was it. I believe either 20 or 25% is what they stated their threshold for calling a deck's domination of the meta problematic in standard. I think that's their cutoff. And both of them were like 49%. And they didn't do anything. Their defense last time in that was, we're not betting Shane Whirler because rotation is coming up. So if you read between the lines on that logically, just don't play Magic for 3 months. Just stay away from the game. Obviously, it's in a toxic, unplayable state, but rotation will solve it. Well, what if I want to play Magic in the next couple months? What if I don't want to wait for rotation? I mean, that's one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard from them, and that's a high bar. So anyway, they're completely wrong about standard being balanced and robust. It looks like that on the surface, but I will prove to you why that isn't true. So Nexus of Fate decks, all variants grouped together. So literally any deck playing it, because remember, Simic, Gates, and Teferi are now all playing it, and Teferi different color mixes. That represented about 14% of the Mythic Championship Cleveland metagame. I still think that's wrong. I think it's like 18, whatever. And just one of the top 8 decks, probably because the person could finish their match in 50 minutes. This is very much in line with what we see as a healthy metagame share, and we're still seeing the metagame continue to evolve. Yeah, 14% implies there's, about 7-ish decks that are popular. 7 playable decks for Tier 1, that's not terrible. So once again, with what they're saying, they're not wrong. They're just failing to consider a whole bunch of other stuff. So the complaints surrounding Nexus of Fate, now this is where it gets weird because I actually admit this. The complaints surrounding Nexus of Fate mainly focus on the amount of time those decks take to win, and the fact that the card is only available in premium treatment. The latter has implications with respect to potentially marked cards in competitive play. At the pro level, all foil cards are right off the bat considered marked. Pretty much. That's at least going into a pro tour what you should expect. So everybody knows, do not bring foils. You will be accused of cheating. You could get a game loss. Bare minimum, a judge is going to come over and either force you to swap them with a non-foil version, especially if there's a pattern, like only this one card is foiled, not just, you have 3 random foils that have nothing to do with each other. Okay, you're probably not cheating. They might still, if they're curled a little bit, which, 100% of foils, unless you put them in a freaking vacuum seal or a humidor or something, they're going to curl. They will swap them out with a proxy, which is just a Sharpie job on a basic land. So that's classy. So they say while there is validity to both these concerns, the bar for banning a card in standard is high. End of sentence, end of explanation. Let me give you my take on this. Let me translate this to out of corporate speak and what I think they're trying to say here. You think standard is an absolute shit fest due to Nexus of Fate? And you think that everybody cheating with it because they're the only version of, in case you're not familiar, the only version of Nexus of Fate that exists is foil. So everybody could plausibly, deniably cheat with it. And every deck running it right off the bat is probably just by default going to have to get proxied by a judge. And then you get to argue about what the Sharpie handwriting says and what the card really is and what the card really says and how much mana it costs and what the exact wording is. You think that's bad, and the fact that individual games are going past 50 minutes, which is, by the way, the reason that they banned eggs. There is precedent for this. They banned a deck for taking too damn long, and this is eggs 2.0. It's as bad. It depends how aggressive the win condition is, though, but there are some with, no win con other than your opponent runs out of cards, which is hard to do if you keep taking turns, but you guys know how they work. I don't need to explain how the damn deck works. So those are 2 very valid points, but the bar is really high. So what they're saying is, if you think standard is in an unplayable, unfriendly, unfun, time-wasting shithole dumpster fire right now, it could get worse. You don't even know how much worse the game can get. Were you playing during Darksteel? We haven't even hit rock bottom yet. Oh, you must be new here. You don't even know what the bottom looks like, okay? There is so much worse. We could downslide so much further to the point where we don't even have a customer left anymore. Then we'll ban it. It could get so much worse. That's what I interpret them saying the bar for banning a card in Standard is high. That's my takeaway from that statement, and you know damn well I'm right. So then there's this just utterly blatantly untrue statement. Unlike non-rotating formats where the best option for making balanced adjustments in a timely fashion is banning cards, we prefer, whenever possible, to use Standard's rotation to help phase out problematic cards. Well, they sure as hell aren't going to prevent them from getting printed in the first place. They've proven that. And pave the way for new strategies in a natural and predictable cycle. Okay, if a deck is unbelievable toxic AIDS, it's overpowered, and way too many people are playing it, and the entire community hates it, and then you ban it, I would call that a natural and predictable cycle. You've literally banned 9 cards in the last 2 years, okay? There's a natural and predictable cycle. It's, look at this broken garbage, and it gets banned. That's the cycle, okay? Last time it was Chain Whirler, and it was like 2 months and 3 weeks or something. We had to wait for it to cycle out, and their only excuse was, well, just wait, it's cycling out. Who cares? I mean, we're not going to ban something 2 months before it gets illegal. Which, I mean, Chain Whirler is actually still legal and still a problem. So that is a ridiculous excuse, but they're saying this time around, yeah, it's broken crap, but just wait for rotation. Which is, 5 or 6 months away, I think? Like, it's at least twice as long as it was last time, and that was not a popular decision last time. So what they're saying is, in Standard, if there's a problem, we don't want to ban it almost under any circumstances because all the pro players and net decking douchebags whine about it. They all, oh, my wallet, my money, ooh, my deck, it costs so much. Well, then stop spending so much on a damn deck. Play a $30 deck and win with it like I do. It's F&M for God's sake. You don't need to bring a tier 1 deck. Just get over yourself. You're the douche ruining it for everybody else. And not to mention driving away new players and killing the game because of it. And take their deck and cry about it and run home and never come back. I don't care. We wouldn't miss them. But those are the loudest people on Reddit and, tweeting about it and crap because their whole life is magic, apparently. So that's all Wizards hears is nothing but negativity when they ban a card. Nobody's like, yes, thank God. I mean, actually, in some cases, there's quite a few people saying that, but there's way too many people complaining about it every time. But then it gets way worse. Oh, get ready to punch your monitor or phone. We respect the effort players make to assemble the cards they need to create their favorite deck and don't take disrupting that process lightly. You and I both know that if a card gets banned, it's a tier 1 net deck and anybody building it did not come up with it on their own, okay? If you respected careful, talented deck builders, you would ban stuff more often. These are just copycat assholes who like to win a little bit too much and spend an irresponsible amount of money on their decks. Remember, they said create their favorite deck. Okay, so they're actually completely suppressing right now with the Standard meta any kind of creativity. It's control draw or just blitz, suicide blitz, ultra speed rush. Nothing else has a chance in hell except for apparently Gruul. Gruul is doing really well right now, and that's actually like a real deck. Who would have thought? And like Sultai midrange, okay, but it's so control heavy, and the way it plays, it's a little slower, but I'm still going to call it control draw spam bullshit. It's the same deck. So right after saying we respect the effort players make to assemble the cards they need to create their favorite deck and don't take disrupting that process lightly, they say this is especially true for Standard, which we know is often where players first experience building constructed Magic decks. Okay, that's your idea for not banning Nexus. Not only do new players not show up with Nexus, because that's ridiculous, if it's their first experience, as you put it, building a constructed Magic deck and they go up against literally anything popular in the meta right now, they are never coming back, okay? They have got to be bleeding customers left and right, and the thing is, they technically aren't on paper because of Arena. So Arena, I mean, Hearthstone's dying. Hearthstone shot themselves in the foot, and everybody's leaving that. Artifact, they lost 99% of their player base. I am not exaggerating. That is the actual number. Pokemon Online ain't what it used to be, and Yu-Gi-Oh's dying because they're back to the turn 2 trash, overpowered garbage. So you get all these other TCG refugees coming on over, and Arena's free. So they jump on Arena. A lot of ex-Magic players, they might not even be playing a TCG at the moment. They jump back into Arena, and then because of that, they attended a pre-release event. So yes, the Guilds of Ravnica pre-release was the most attended pre-release ever in the history of Magic. But what they should be measuring is how many people are just rage quitting the game because of the state of standard, especially over the last like 2.5 years, give or take. I mean, holy crap, has standard been banned? And if you're going to say, no, it isn't, you're just whining. 9 cards were banned. 9 cards. Standard has been unplayable shit for years. That's my citation. Like, what planet are you on that standard has been fun and interesting and great? The only people saying that and telling me I'm wrong are the ones playing decks like this. They're just addicted to net decking. There's no other way to play. They insult people for not bringing a tier 1 deck to casual F&M, and their whole problem is they just like lose their shit when they lose. They have to win. They have to be seen as the best because they have just a pathetically small ego, and apparently their entire self-worth and self-image is propped up by Magic the Gathering. It's fucking sad. So they roll up with their $1,000 deck and their $500 Honda with the Muffler Dragon and beat everybody at F&M and then pretend that everybody respects them when silently everybody just resents them, refuses to talk to them, and sometimes just to their face tells them to take their deck and fuck right off with it. Like, that's who we're talking about ruining Magic. So for them to say, like, they don't want to ban Nexus of Fate because it'll be disruptive to players having their first experience building constructed Magic in standard F&M. Holy crap, is that a BS excuse? It's not even an excuse, it's a lie. If you banned like 30 cards, it would be disruptive, because then at some point your deck might have one in there that's unfriendly when somebody built the deck and they're like, yeah, but this is in the set. Oh, but it got banned. But Nexus, you think people are just showing up with Nexus of Fate, a full playset for what, like $200 when they're brand new to Magic and this is their first experience playing constructed? No. And honestly, remember what I wanted banned? Terramander, which I could see that if somebody just thought it was a neat card. It's not even that expensive. Okay. Steamkin, okay. I mean, if somebody's playing it, I could see that if they're not abusing it, that would be disruptive. But then Teferi and Nexus, if you're putting that in your brand new deck, screw you. I mean, we don't even want you in the Magic community in the first place. Turn right back around. Bye-bye. My first deck was like 2-color, blue-heavy, 78-card, no central theme with Stormtide Leviathan because I thought it was cool, okay? That was my first experience building constructed for F&M. The whole damn deck cost about $14. If I just started playing and somebody started looping infinite turns and countering every single spell I cast and blowing up every single creature or permanent I brought into play one turn after I brought it in, do you really think I'd stick around, or would I just be like, this whole game's broken, bunch of try-hard, just douches hair, fuck this, I'm never coming back? And you know people are thinking that. You know that. In my comment section, in videos not even about Arena, people have just randomly posted, I quit Arena because I can't stand it, it's not fun, I'm sick of seeing the same 3 decks over and over and over, and nothing could beat them, and they're not fun to play against. So fuck it. That should be very concerning. I don't know if Wizards forgot that they need to sell products and make money, and they need customers to not quit their game, but they do. That should be the #1 priority, and they're prioritizing just ridiculous things like, oh, what was the top 16 at the Pro Tour? Who gives a shit? That's what. The last time I calculated it, it was 99.97% of Magic players will not participate in a Pro Tour or Grand Prix in an entire year. 99.97. That's using Wizards' own numbers. So to cater to them is ridiculous, but I get why they're doing it. They think that anybody serious about Magic is going to net deck. There's nothing to stop net deckers. They all admit net decking ruined the game, even Rosewater. They all say things were better before the internet, and the game was played the way it was intended to, with people upgrading their deck, coming up with new ideas, adapting to each other's play styles, and doing this cat and mouse game, and people could just play whatever they thought was cool. That's how Magic was supposed to be. So they've just mentally given up. They think you either net deck or you're not taking Magic seriously, and everybody showing up to F&M is an exact, precise mirror of the Pro Tour. While that is true, I would say in all my experience that applies to 1/3 of players. So not even the majority. The other ones are there to have fun. They build what they want. People are extensively playing Black-White Vampires because the deck's cheap. The deck has been legal forever. They've had to tweak almost nothing about it. And it's fun and it's interesting. It's dynamic and it's flexible. And it doesn't cost $400. So people bring it to F&M and that's real. Like, that's your actual customers right there. That's who they should be catering to, not these ridiculous pro players. They shouldn't be asking them what they think. They shouldn't be looking at those stats. I mean, yeah, they said Arena and MTGO, but like even Arena is super impersonal, and I will only play in competitive ranked my top 2 or 3 elite decks. And remember, I have like 50 decks built. Arena isn't F&M, and yeah, I guess Arena is a pretty big portion of their like income, and so is MTGO. Those two together vastly outshadow all of Paper, which most of Paper is F&M, obviously, or casual tabletop. But I would be really, really, really worried if like hobby stores kept going out and Paper keeps falling off. But like I said, that's not what they're seeing. They're seeing attendance go up solely because Arena exists. But that's by this time next year, oh, they're going to get the real picture. If they don't fix standard, because that'll be right when a rotation happens, give or take. Or no, that's half a year from now, but you know, time to kick in and all that. Oh, they're going to see what it really is once the Arena honeymoon period, wears off. So anyway, they do go on to say, likewise in competitive play, we have solutions for marked cards. So they're openly admitting that they're just marked cards. All foils are marked, period. And yeah, they're not wrong. Not just copies of Nexus of Fate. Oh, well, okay, yeah, for all those people. Like that guy at the Mythic Championship who only brought foil blue sources. And like they didn't think that was suspicious. That is blatantly cheating. He's using marked cards. Clear as day. Anyway, they have solutions for marked cards causing unfair play, up to and including judge-issued proxies. We'll continue to employ those solutions going forward. While not ideal, we prefer this to making a ban based on logistical reasons rather than balance reasons. I mean, but that's the thing, the logistics would be 40-minute games, individual games, where you can't even play 2 of 3 because the decks take so damn long. So now you got 2 logistical reasons. That's enough. But remember, the bar to ban a standard card is really high. Did they have a poster up in their office that says, remember, it can always get worse? What the hell, Wizards? Get a freaking clue. So as always, we'll continue to monitor the evolution of the standard environment and are willing to make changes when needed. No, you're not. Shut up. Stop lying to me. That said, we don't currently anticipate needing to make changes to the standard ban list. So in other words, they're telling us that even next ban, they ain't gonna ban a damn thing. We already knew that. The May 20th ban is like right around the release of the next set, which might shake everything up. But that's the thing. If they really care about a set selling well and succeeding financially, which they really should and they really seem to, and they've already brought back the non-selling, useless, worthless money pit, just boat anchor of a set, the core set. They can't afford 2 worthless garbage sets in a year out of 4. And let's see, War of the Spark is mostly 36 Planeswalkers. And Planeswalkers die to everything in the standard meta right now. They really should consider on May 20th banning at least the speed decks. At least. Like I said, I'd like to see Terramander go because it's literally like blue aggressive rush. When have you ever said that statement together in a sentence? So screw that deck. I mean, Siren maybe too, but for sure the Terramander. That's the problem. And by the way, that's a duck and cover deck. They call it Blue Temple. There isn't anything Blue Temple about it. Shut the hell up. It's giant flying creatures. That and Tempest. Tempest and Terramander, and the rest is cover for them. That's a duck and cover deck. It's an all-in cover Ender's Game deck, okay? That's what it is. It's not tempo. So anyway, that's way too good. Ditch it. And plus, giant flying creatures and mountains of early game control. Yeah, Planeswalkers can't play against that. Too fast, too good, too much control. Get rid of it. For red-white blitz, I would get rid of Heroic Reinforcements. That card is way too good. Way too good. For white blitz, which is pretty obnoxious. I mean, it loses to board wipes really easily, and Kaya's Wrath is now a thing. In fact, Esper Control plays like 2 board wipes. 2 different board wipes, as in above 4 of them. But still, History of Benalia, that card was always a mistake. Everybody wanted it gone. It was like $35 at one point. That card needs to go. It's too good, too easy to flood, too aggressive, too much damage, too hard to stop. And even if you stop it, the token's already out. So that's just way too good of a card. I would ban Teferi because he's just too good. He's just a self-contained game winner. You don't even need a combo with him. And then I would ban Nexus by itself because it's in 3 different decks and it's a problem. Duh. And then in red, obviously, that elemental that keeps giving you unlimited mana. That's a little bit of an issue. That deck is literally better at card draw than blue and better at mana generation than green. So the best card draw mana generation deck is not Simic, it's actually mono red. That's whenever the colors start getting out of their lane in what they typically do and they start borrowing from other colors, that's where you get a train wreck, okay? And that train, oh my God, not only did it fall off the tracks, it's like cruising through Mark Rosewater's front lawn right now while he's looking out the window and he's pretending he can't see it. I would dare say that's not even a red deck. They need to take the blatantly blue-green card out of it, and that's the Steamkin Elemental. So those 5 cards, if those were gone, Planeswalkers would be playable. Otherwise, they're too slow. They're going to get just mauled by flyers, haste, you name it. So let's real quick go to the last tournament results and debunk what they said about the standard meta being, the hell did they say, dynamic and diverse or whatever the hell. It's not. All right, here we go. Star City Games Standard Classic Syracuse Standard March 3rd. Let's do it. First place, Simic Nexus with that untap enchantment that, you know what, ban that too. And let's see, that was also 7th place, 10th place, and I'll throw in Nexus Gates because that was 15th because that's still a Nexus deck. I mean, Gates is obnoxious, and I honestly would very much prefer them to take that blue enchantment and ban it. I called for that to be banned the second it came out as a spoiler. Because it's way too much card draw, duh. I mean, that Gates is just card advantage in a box. It's ridiculous, and the color fixing is way out of control. Nobody should ever be able to play 5 colors. It's just bullshit. So that's one deck. It's just control, 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 and then get into a Nexus loop and just shut the game down about 2 hours after you started playing. Then we've got Sultai Midrange, which that's one that's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, they're calling it midrange. But it's got the ramp, it's got the Hydroid Crisis, it's got Branch Walker, Wild Growth Walker, Jade Light, so it's got that whole Explorer thing going on. Love that archetype, it's fun. Then it's got Hostage Taker. That card should have been banned the second that it came out. I mean, they had to errata it because they're too stupid to realize that it could target itself and cause a 1-card infinite loop. That's amazing. I don't know if they've ever done that in the history of Magic, that level of stupidity. This got 1 Carnage Tyrant. I mean, ban that too. Fuck that card. This got Vivian Reed. People are talking about banning her. And then it's Cast Down, Vraska's Contempt, Find Finality. And that's apparently enough control to run the whole game. And yeah, it is. I mean, so you are throwing down big creatures. You're getting a lot of, deck skimming with the Explorer. You're getting a little bit of mana ramp there, and then you go into a Crisis and just hopefully make it work. And then the sideboard is just an absolute disaster. Counter spells, duress, oh my gosh. So on paper in a list, this looks like a pretty fair standard normal deck that's a little control heavy, but in actual gameplay, it just shuts everything down. You can't do anything about it. Anything left in play cannot go up against what they already have out due to the sheer size. So that's the one kind of anomalous one. I'm seeing it all over Arena, and it was 2nd place, 4th place, 12th, 13th place, and probably past that as well. So, okay, archetype number 2. Then we got what they call, oh my god, Rakdos Aggro, and every single card in the entire deck is red, okay? 1 Angrath in the sideboard. That makes it Rakdos, apparently. This is Red Rush, okay? Fanatical Firebrand, Lava Runner, Rix Maddie, Runaway Steamkin, Chain Whirler, Rekindling Phoenix, fuck that card too, ban it. Shock, Lightning Strike, Light Up the Stage, Wizard's Lightning, Experimental Frenzy. We've all seen this deck. It's not Rakdos. Shut the hell up. Oh my god, MTG Goldfish, you are not fooling anyone. Don't try to cover for Wizards and their bullshit, okay? It's mono red. Just call it what it is. So yeah, Red Blitz, shocker, it came in 3rd place. By the way, the online price for that deck, 24 tickets. Wow. Mono Blue is 8 tickets though, $92 in paper. So let's see, what else is left? Now, Gruul Aggro, now we're talking. That's a real fucking deck that uses creatures, it uses removal, it uses boost. It's just some good stuff. It's got Rekindling Phoenix. I think that's a little OP. Does run Chain Whirler, not a fan. But the rest of it is just Gruul. It's like the actual deck that they intended when they designed the set. I don't have a problem with this. It's just a good deck. It's just a fair, good, normal playing deck with no gimmick. It's creatures, spells, get out of its way or stop it. And I don't have a problem beating this online a pretty fair amount of the time, honestly. I don't think it's a very good deck, but apparently it's doing really well to rank 5th place. So leave that one, but that is the end of anything civil, okay? So now they have Azorius Aggro, as they call it. The sideboard has some counter spells. That's it. The entire deck, once again, is mono white. Dauntless Bodyguard, Sky Marcher, Snubhorn, Adanto, Tithe Taker, Benalish, Venerated Loxodon, There's one of Johnny in there for some reason. I think that's actually a little weird. Legion's Landing, Baffling End, History Benalia, and Conclave Tribunal. So that's just slightly conservative, not quite all in white blitz. And then it's got like an Azorius sideboard, and it does run Hallowed Fountain and Glacial because who cares? It's still not Azorius. I don't care. I don't care what they say. It's not. But yeah, the whole sideboard is just to stop a board wipe. But yeah, this is like your City's Blessing, Ascend kind of thing where you just blitz, boost, go, counters, typical just white rush. So this is just the white version of red rush. It's the same damn deck. Both of them are just hyper light speed blitz. So to say it's, oh, look at the diversity. No, they're the same fucking deck. I don't care what anybody says. Then there's mono blue aggro, which is once again the same stupid fucking deck. Mistcloak Herald, unblockable. Terramander, he gets huge way too easily. Siren Storm Tamer, that's your cover. That's basically a counterspell. Merfolk Trickster, that thing's fucking annoying. And then Tempest Djinn. And the whole deck's ducking cover. So it's Dive Down, Opt Spell, Pierce, Chart of Course, Essence Capture, and Wizard's Retort. And then, of course, Curious Obsession, because of course. And for a monocolored deck, the sideboard is an absolute ridiculous Swiss Army knife. So it's just rush, cover, you can't stop me, fuck you. So same damn deck, same exact deck. It's a little bit more spell heavy, but who cares? Then we've got Esper Control, which is Teferi no win condition deck. Love that. Oh boy, 9th place this one came in. Stanley Keselowski, fuck you for playing this, you're an asshole. I'm not kidding, there is no win con, unless you count the one Kaya. They managed to fit a Kaya in there, one, and that's it. And her alt is shit. Otherwise, the win con is literally Teferi making them forfeit, which nobody at the Pro Tour does, or any kind of GP or whatever the hell this tournament was. So it has, I am not kidding, 27 control spells. And I count draw as control because they just draw more control. Once you hit a certain level of control, you just draw into more control. It's Cast Down, Negate, Thought Erasure, Absorb, Cry of the Carnarium, Mortify, Chemister's Insight, Kaya's Wrath, and Vraska's Contempt. +2 Search for Azcanta. You cannot stop this deck. Nothing fucking beats this deck except for sheer speed. This is the kind of oppressive shit that shouldn't be in Standard. And once again, to remind you, it has no win condition whatsoever at all. Except for Kaya's ult, Teferi can't win the game by himself. But there are 0 creatures. I am not kidding. There is no win condition at all. Making your opponent take 53 turns and running out of cards in their library is literally the win condition. Decks do not get more toxic than this. This is unreal. And then we've got the completely different deck, Is It Phoenix, which runs 26 non-creature spells instead of 27. It's the same fucking deck. It's a bunch of control and draw horse shit and just a narrow win con. So it's very, very, very similar to the Teferi deck. It's identical to mono blue. It works exactly the same way. Well, except the arc lights keep coming back, whether you Ixalan's binding them or not. There is literally no way to stop them except to have a Settle the Wreckage every single time, or 3 kill spells in your hand every turn. Literally every single turn. So there's Goblin Electromancer to enable the spell casting, so he's not even really a creature. Crackling Drake, okay, backup win con, and then 4 arc lights, and that's the whole entire fucking deck. Then there's Rel, and then there's Opt, Shock, Chart of Course, Entrancing Melody, great card by the way, Lava Coil, Radical Idea, Tormenting Voice, Beacon Bolt, and then 2 Discovery Dispersals. When you get to that level of control in a deck, that's when you know Standard is broken. This is just, it's disgusting that this is even a thing. So once again, it's the same exact deck. Rely on 1 or 2 narrow little win cons, and the entire rest of the deck is control. And you want to talk about an unfriendly deck to go up against, so I could go on, but the entire rest of the list is just control spam bullshit or Ultra Blitz. That's it. That's all anybody is playing. And that's all you can get away with because people keep upping it. How much control do you have in your deck? Well, I've got 10% more than you, so I'm going to win because I'm going to shut down your shit more. And now we've just gotten to the natural progression of it, which is literally no win condition because fuck it. It's just all control because fuck you. I didn't come here to let my opponent play Magic. Don't be silly. Or it has 2 cards, Tempest Djinn or Pterodon, or whatever, the Terramander as the win con. Or Crackling Drake and the Phoenix as the win con. And that's it. And the entire rest of the deck supports it. I mean, you guys know what I've been winning with online. Duck and cover Blue-Eyed Angels. The win condition is Resplendent Angel, Lyra, the end. And the entire rest of the deck protects them. I ain't proud of it. I wouldn't normally bring this. I sure as shit wouldn't build it and bring it to F&M. But this is Arena. Screw all my opponents. They're all a bunch of net decking, cheating, slow playing, timeouting dicks. They can all fuck right off and I'm going to do whatever I want to win. Real winning friendly attitude to have, so if people carry that over to F&M, ooh, and these decks, that's what they do. So once again, the last thing I gotta point out is that Wizards should be deeply concerned about one thing. This should be almost the only thing on their mind, at least the first thing they consider when they see if they should, they have the meeting where they're like, should we ban a card? Are the majority of customers, so in other words, F&M attendees, having fun playing Magic? Is it enjoyable? Because if the answer is no, your company is going to go bankrupt, period. It's that fucking simple. Nobody is having fun up against this control bullshit or the you lost on turn 4, fuck you, build a faster deck garbage. Nobody's having fun with that. Mountains of people have quit Arena because of that. It's not fun. If I'm not having fun, let me check. How many other games do I have installed? Hold on. Let me pause the video real quick. I have 41 other games on my computer that I could be playing instead of this bullshit. Why would I waste my time aggravating myself, banging my head up against the control wall in Arena when I could be playing literally anything else? And if I'm not playing Arena, I'm not paying Arena. Not that I was anyway. If I'm not attending F&M, then you're not getting a penny from me. I'm not buying cards, I'm not building decks. This should be deeply concerning. If customers aren't enjoying your product and they're quitting using your product, you should be ringing the emergency bell and saying, what can we do about this? So the number one thing should not be, what are the statistics from the top 16 of the Pro Tour? Fuck the Pro Tour, fuck the statistics. I don't give a shit. If something is 70% of the meta, yeah, do something about it. But the number one question is anyone having fun playing Magic? And the answer is, fuck no, unless their F&M is all casual and they have a tier 1 restriction, or the owner of the shop is kicking people out for playing unfriendly decks. That happens way more often than you might think. Or if people are just high school cafeteria / home kitchen table playing, because then they can control who plays and who plays what and the power level, and then who cares? I mean, Wizards doesn't need to micromanage that. But if people are purposely not showing up to F&M because it's so toxic to play Standard right now, they should actually give a shit about that. That should be the top priority. So they should look at the Standard meta, just look at these 16 decks and be like, holy shit, nobody wants to go up against this oppressive, unfun crap. It doesn't even let them resolve one fucking spell. Everything gets countered or blown up within a turn. The person can't even play their fucking deck. You'll be lucky if they don't just get up and throw the chair in the person's face and flip off the store owner and never come back. At this rate, that's where Standard's at right now. That should be kind of concerning, and I am not exaggerating. People are quitting left and right because of it. They're just not seeing the numbers because they're getting a little temporary bump from Arena. Well, the way that Standard is treating people right now, that is going to last not real fucking long. So that's all I got to say about this. They should have banned about 5 or 6 cards, bare minimum 4, just to open it up to anything. I'd love to play Black-White Vampires right now. I'd love to play Pirates. I mean, there's a list of 12 decks right now that are all extremely good, very competitive, but they just get crushed with bad matchups with Speed Blitz and Control Spam. There's no excuse for that. And for them to say that it's diverse, there's 2 archetypes. That's not diversity. That's fucking ridiculous. And they're both about 50%. So 50% is speed, 50% is control. That's it. There's nothing else. Oh, and Gruul. I don't know how that one snuck in. I'm still wondering. I mean, it's got to be the hexproof, right? So they really need to get a clue if they're not going to kill their business. But when has Wizards ever made an intelligent decision in the last 25 years? So I wouldn't count on it. Everything they said in this entire article assures us that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And their philosophy on managing the game is completely wrong and extremely pipe visioned to just the pro scene. So nothing is ever going to get better. They honestly just need to start listening to the actual community, not just some try-hard whiner netdecker fucktards on Reddit. And they need to change the way they manage the game at a basic level, or just stop printing broken, unfun shit. I mean, that would go a long way. Just don't let people build shit like this in the first place. There you go. No jumpstart draw cards. Holy shit, was that a bad idea? I mean, that's all they have to do to fix the game. That's it. So anyway, that's the state of things. We're not going to see a ban next time either, unless things get really bad really quick where they're forced to act. If I were you, I would send them a message, stop showing up to F&M and stop playing Arena. It's that simple. Just boycott that shit until they get a fucking clue and fix it. Oh, and way more importantly, every time they send out one of those surveys, actually take it and actually tell them what pisses you off about Standard right now. They clearly are not getting enough feedback from real people telling them the real truth. So please go do that. Watch for it anywhere. It's all over social media, all that shit. I usually post a link on my community tab with it, so turn notifications on. And just tell them on social media, just straight up, just take one of the staff members, reply to one of their tweets and say, I don't even want to play right now because of all the control and all the speed blitz. There's no deck I can build. Standard isn't fun. Magic isn't fun. What the hell are you doing? And if enough people tell them that, they might start to actually get a fucking clue. I wouldn't count on it, but hey, it's worth a shot. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time Wizards completely fuck something up. Probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.